G'day guys, welcome to this week's 5 minute yarn. Well, I'm still out at Morisset Ward 21. We're just doing a bit of a walk through. In this particular point, we're heading up to the dam to give you a look in the video up there. But I just thought I'd stop. When I filmed the old 5 minute yarn, the original, not the 5 minute yarn, the original walk around Morisset Ward 21, I said at the end of that it won't be long and the gates will be locked. And as I've mentioned already in last week's video, in the Morisset video, the gates are locked. This is why. This shit has been sitting here since before the gates were locked, so nobody's bothered to clean it up. They've just locked it and forgotten about it, and that's a bigger problem in my opinion. But this is the basic reason as to why these frigging gates get locked and areas get locked out for all of us, is people dumping their shit. And I have to say, Pajero owners, I thought you were better than this. That's a injector rail off a Gen 3 or off a 6G74. There were a set of heads out here somewhere, and there were a bunch of other parts. Actually, I think there were a couple of sets of heads out here at one point. I don't know if they're still here or not, but yeah, there's all this shit here. Then there's more shit here. This is actually newer because I brought Bex and the kids from the Adventuring Scots out here in January, February, and this wasn't here. There's more shit over there, more shit over there. There's new side steps or something, not new, but they weren't here last time I was here. There's side steps or something over there. Nathan's having a look over this way. There's more shit over here. But this is exactly why areas get locked out, is because of absolute pigs dumping their shit. And we haven't really filmed it for this video, but as you walk in from Larapinna Drive, Settlers Way, here at YE Point to come into the ward just to have a look, you see more and more of this all the way through. And it is plain and simple arseholes that are too cheap to pay for tip fees. Yes, our tip fees are pretty expensive, but they're too cheap to pay for the tip fees. I paid for them when I had my business and did rubbish removal, and yeah, they just don't want to, so they dump it out in the bush and screw it for the rest of us. So look, I know a lot of people say that if you report this sort of stuff, areas get closed down. Now, the people that actually put the gates in place here, the bushland here and the ward and everything is owned by two separate companies, or it's two separate entities. One of them is Bararang, I think it is, or Barrabarang Land Council, and one of them is a private corporation who actually owns the rights to a lot of the land down behind the houses on Settlers Way, and they want to develop. Now, this specific section I'm standing here is owned, or basically the borderline between the Barrang Land Council and the bloody private mob. That side, all around here, is the Aboriginal mob. Off to the other side of the power line trail there is the Aboriginal mob. But this section here, following the power lines to the right hand side, is this private corporation, and there's a little creek that you cross. From that creek backwards, the whole area is this private corporation. So like this rubbish here, it'd be a dispute as to who owns it, whether it's the private corp or if it's the land council. I guarantee you they'd be, oh, who needs to clean it up? You know, it's not my property, it's your property, not my property, your property. You know, I guarantee you get that bullshit council and that do it too. But yeah, it was the private corporation that actually put in the gates in here. There are other sections still open, but I believe that they're hard four-wheel drive trails, like they've been really chewed out, big ruts and things like that to come through. But yeah, as I was saying, a lot of people say don't report it because they'll just skate it up. And in this instance, yes, it has happened. I've reported a couple of piles of rubbish out here. The day that I filmed the last Morisset walk around video, just down the bottom here, there were two massive piles of rubbish, and I'm talking these would have been a tip truck come in and dumped them. There were two of them, and there was a burnt out flatbed tow truck down there as well. So that's why I said at the end of that video that the day has ended up in a call to the police and report to the council again because of all that shit down there. But look, at the end of the day, Clean Up Australia Day, when we do that every year, we have representatives from RID or the local councils coming out to help out, and you know, they see us out there doing our bit to try and keep these areas clean. And it gives us a good look, it gives us a better name. The people that are doing this has always been two-wheel drive effectively access. You get pretty much anything in, coming from Larapinna Drive back in the day, you could get pretty much anything in here. If you really wanted to get hatchback in here, you'd get it. But anything like a Falcon or anything like that, you pretty well would have got in here. Any ute, any small trucks, any four-wheel drives. So this rubbish doesn't mean it's four-wheel drivers. It's just straight out pigs. Whether they're four-wheel drivers or not, they are straight out pigs. But yeah, look, if you see this sort of shit, jump on your local council or the RID, Report Illegal Dumping website, report the rubbish, take some photos of it, share your location, things like that. And it does show that us as four-wheel drivers are actually trying to do our part to help keep these places open and help keep these places clean, even though it may eventually lead to some gates, especially with national parks. We all know that they don't need much of an excuse to lock a gate. Even though it may lead to some gates, just do it. And it does help to show that we are doing our little bit to try and make the place better. Alright guys, I've ranted over 5 minutes. If you've liked it, please remember to leave a like, comment below, let me know if you've ever reported, let me know your thoughts. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Yamma Bujidi Mudugu, walk a good path. Yanu, goodbye.